Hello everyone. Welcome to Slurp Knowledge, a channel where we share health and science knowledge in short, easy-to-digest videos, just like instant noodles for your brain. Please note the knowledge in this video is gathered from various scientific sources. If you have any ideas, corrections, or thoughts to add, feel free to leave a comment below. There are parts of the body that only become important when they stop working. Before that, they are like air, always present but rarely noticed. An ordinary morning, you wake up, take a sip of water, maybe rush through breakfast, and then begin your day. No one announces that inside you, a system has already been running since long before that moment. It does not need your command. It does not need to be remembered, it simply works. Every cell in the body survives through metabolism, and wherever there is metabolism, there is waste. If that waste is not removed in time, life itself begins to poison itself. Human beings exist thanks to the ability to keep the internal environment stable, not too dilute, not too concentrated, not too much, not too little. And to do that, the body needs a system that works tirelessly, the excretory system. The excretory system does not create a clear sensation like hunger, nor does it cause pain like a wound. It is quiet, yet that very quietness forms the foundation for all other life processes, and our story begins here. To understand why such a silent system can determine survival, we need to see it not as a single organ, but as a continuous flow within the body. The excretory system, a flow that never stops. The human excretory system does not exist as a single, separate structure. It is a rhythmic sequence of movements among multiple organs, the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. The kidneys are where it begins, where urine is formed. The ureters are like pathways that carry urine downward. The bladder is a temporary reservoir, holding it until the body is ready. And the urethra is the final gate opening to the outside world. At first glance, the excretory system seems to be only about urination, but in reality it involves every cell. If the excretory system stops working, toxins accumulate in the blood, disrupt the cellular environment, and life is gradually suffocated from within. What is remarkable is that the excretory system does not operate according to human intention. It does not wait for you to remember it. It works when you sleep, when you are awake, when you are happy, when you are stressed. Because every passing second, cells are still alive. And within this entire system, there is one organ that plays the central role, where the most critical decisions are made. The kidneys, two guardians of life. The two kidneys lie deep in the abdominal cavity, close to the back, on either side of the spine. They are unobtrusive and hard to notice, as if placed there to avoid disturbance. Each kidney is only about the size of a fist, yet it receives an enormous volume of blood. About 1/4 of the blood pumped by the heart each minute passes through the kidneys. This means the kidneys are constantly seeing every change occurring in the body. Kidneys are often called filters, but that description is not enough. A water filter simply traps impurities. Kidneys are different. They discriminate. They know what must be retained to sustain life and what must be removed to protect the entire system. The kidneys do not work mechanically. They adjust to the body's condition. When you drink a lot of water, when you are dehydrated, when you exercise intensely, when you rest. The two kidneys are like two silent gatekeepers standing behind you throughout your life. To understand why the kidneys can be so intelligent, we need to go deeper into their structure. Inside each kidney are millions of nephrons, tiny but extremely sophisticated structural and functional units. Each nephron is like an independent processing factory. Urine formation begins at the glomerulus. Blood is forced through a dense network of capillaries. Under pressure, water and small molecules pass through the filtration membrane, forming primary urine. Larger molecules such as proteins and blood cells are retained. That is why normal urine contains no protein. When protein appears, it is not a minor issue. It is a sign that the filtration membrane has been damaged. After filtration, primary urine flows through the renal tubules, and here a crucial decision is made: retain or excrete. Water, salts, glucose, substances the body still needs, are reabsorbed back into the blood. Without this step, humans would lose water, lose energy, and could not survive for long. The final result of this intricate process is what we see every day, yet rarely listen to. Urine, the body's silent message. Urine is not just waste, it is the body's report sent outward. The color of urine reflects the body's hydration status. Pale yellow indicates balance, darker color suggests the body is conserving water. The volume of urine reflects how the kidneys are adjusting. The characteristic odor of urine comes from urea, a product of protein metabolism. When protein intake is high, the smell may be stronger. During infection, the odor may change. There are very subtle changes, but if we pay attention, we can detect abnormalities early before disease becomes severe. That is why urinalysis is considered one of the simplest yet most effective tools in medicine. But the kidneys do more than produce urine. Their role goes much deeper. The kidneys keep the body from becoming too dilute or too concentrated. They regulate water, sodium, potassium, calcium, elements essential to cellular life. They participate in blood pressure regulation by controlling blood volume and activating specific hormones. When blood pressure drops, the kidneys retain salt and water. When blood pressure rises, they increase excretion to reduce the burden on the heart. The hormone ADH acts like a delicate valve. When the body lacks water, the valve closes. When there is excess water, it opens. Even a small imbalance in electrolytes can cause heart rhythm disturbances, muscle weakness, and nervous system dysfunction. And the kidneys are the ones that keep everything from slipping off course. When this balancing system weakens, the consequences do not appear immediately but spread gradually. Kidney damage often begins very subtly: a bit of fatigue, mild swelling, slight changes in urine, signs that are easy to overlook. When filtration function declines significantly, toxins accumulate in the blood, the heart has to work harder, the brain becomes less clear, the body can no longer balance itself. Dialysis helps sustain life, but it cannot fully replace the kidneys. Machines lack the ability to adjust flexibly minute by minute, hour by hour, like living nephrons. That is why the kidneys are considered vital organs, and much of their damage does not come from disease but from everyday lifestyle choices. Drinking too little water allows minerals to crystallize more easily. Prolonged high salt intake increases filtration pressure. Frequently holding urine creates conditions for bacterial growth. Uncontrolled use of painkillers can destroy nephrons. Chronic stress disrupts hormones, indirectly affecting kidney function. Women are more prone to urinary tract infections due to a shorter urethra. Older adults are more susceptible to kidney failure as nephron numbers gradually decline. Children are more prone to dehydration because their regulatory systems are not yet fully developed. Looking back at all this, we begin to see some truths worth reflecting on. People often say that some things seem simple on the surface, but inside lies an entire world. If you have ever wondered why the human body can adapt so resiliently, this is the answer. A person can live healthily with just one kidney. The remaining one quietly works harder to compensate, silently carrying the extra load that was once shared. But to truly understand this, we must look deeper into what happens every day. Each day, the kidneys filter blood multiple times, remove toxins, regulate water and salt, and keep blood pressure stable. They do not speak up, they do not sound alarms. And then, what no one expects is that this very silence makes us forget how much they are working. When the kidneys slow down, the heart is affected too, because these systems are closely linked within the same flow. Returning to our story, busy days when we forget to drink water, salty meals eaten for convenience, late nights believing the body will manage on its own. Sometimes, a tiny detail is enough to make everything clear. That moment feels like touching a quiet string within. The kidneys do not complain, they simply keep trying. And that is how a small story changes an entire perspective. Slow down while the body is still silently keeping us in balance. The kidneys do not demand loud attention. They do not speak up when tired, nor complain when overloaded. They simply work quietly day after day, filtering each drop of blood to keep the body in balance. What the kidneys need is actually very simple: a glass of water at the right time, meals that are not too salty or rushed, respect for small signals like the urge to urinate or prolonged fatigue. Do not hold urine. Do not ignore seemingly minor changes in the body, because that may be how the kidneys are whispering to us. Because sometimes caring for health is not about doing something grand, but about stopping in time, so we do not continue to overlook the things that are quietly, silently keeping us alive and well each day.